Hello everyone, my name is Jay and a big warm welcome to you. This is Conversations on Purpose for the Global Coaching Academy, where we just love all things mentoring, coaching, healing, transformation and personal spiritual development. Today I'm speaking to the one and only Miss Maggie McCormack, who is a friend and also a graduate of the Global Coaching Academy, which is an academy that I'm a core member and facilitator of. Love Maggie's work. She's kicking goals. She went viral in early 2025 with her coaching channel with one of her videos, which was fantastic. And I'm looking forward to chatting to her today to get a bit of a bigger picture of her story, of her journey. Hope you enjoy the episode. I'll see you on the other side. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to officially welcome my friend, the one and only Miss Maggie McCormack. Welcome, Mags.
Thanks, Jay. Thank you for having me on your show.
I'm glad you're here, Megan. We've been talking about it for, I don't know, like 4 months or something. We've got to do a podcast somewhere. Both really busy. So here we are. For those of you who don't know, Maggie is a mentor and a coach who went viral in early 2025, which is just fantastic. She had a video which just went bonkers and saw your saw your subscribers go from next to nothing to nearly 200,000. Is that right?
Yeah, it's 186,000 at the moment.
That's so cool. That's so
Crazy.
cool. So I'll put all those details in the description, guys. Check out the video. I mean, all your content is wonderful, Maggie, and it's just getting better. And I feel that particular video was just so wonderful because you were just so real on it and it was relatable to so many people. And congratulations with that. So I definitely want to dive in with the YouTube journey. But let's start with, who is Maggie today? Who is Maggie on this show in this moment? How would you describe yourself, Mags?
That's just it, isn't it? Because who I am today feels different to who I was yesterday and last week and last year, which is a good thing, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Transformation.
Today, I would say I'm a very excited YouTuber, podcaster, coach and mentor, and podiatrist and seeker, like a seeker on the path.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that would sum
Seeking,
it up.
what are you seeking, Mags?
Seeking the truth, seeking to evolve, seeking to grow, to become more of who I really am, to
Mm,
even know who that is and try and embody that here in on
yeah,
earth and be that
yeah.
pretty much.
Well, it's interesting you say that, Mags, because I've watched you over the last few years. For those of you who don't know, Mags is a graduate of the Global Coaching Academy, and we hang out in similar circles. And I've watched Mags grow over the last few years and just exactly what you're saying there, seeking the truth, Mags, and seeking to become more of what you truly are and embody that. I've watched you just face and overcome your fears and to work on your self-esteem and to go to all these places, and you've worked really hard behind the scenes, and the results are really tangible now in the world. It's like all that hard work, all that seeking and introspection that you've done is really starting to show up in the world with your successes. So congrats with that, and well done.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
Yeah,
it has been a journey and it's you've always championed me the whole way and always said like you've you're on your way. You've said it like well before I believed it. So yeah, thank you for that. You've been a wonderful
thank
mentor.
you.
Um,
Thanks,
yeah.
Mags. Thanks. For a little bit of context there, Maggie is a mentee of a really good friend of mine, and also a business partner of mine. So we do facilitate a weekly personal spiritual development class, which I'm on because I'm a business partner with Maggie's mentor. And I've told you this, Mags, but for everyone else, the millions of people that will watch this, I would like to say that the first class we had, I got off the call. I'm like, what's up with Mags? I'm like, she's like this rocket ship. I did. I'm like, my friend Mags, Maggie's mentor, her name is Marg. So I'm like, Marg, this rocket ship. It's like, she's just like, I'm like, but I'm like, there's all these straps like tying her down, but the rockets are on, the engines are on. I'm like, she just is like ready to go. And the last 18 months you have just been taking those straps off, Mags, and just all the limitations the fears, the low self-worth, like you said, you didn't believe in yourself. You really didn't. It was
Yeah.
really obvious from our perspective, like, whoa, look how much potential you've got and how amazing you are. And testament to you, you've done the work. You've worked on your self-esteem and all of that stuff that needed to happen to get you in this position.
Thanks, Jay. Yeah, I really appreciate that. It has been a real journey and a lot of work, and it always sounds so like when I hear people talk about their journeys and they reflect, and it's like, oh yeah, but even every step of the way, you don't feel like it's still a slog every step of the way, even though it's so much joy but you still, once you kind of grow a bit, you get so used to that quickly that it's very easy to forget how much you've grown. So that's why like reviewing
Mm.
and reflecting on 18 months ago is pretty wild.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great to look back and really, I guess, congratulate yourself, ourself on the victories that we've had because we're moving so quickly all the time, especially people that are engaged in conscious evolution and really working on themselves and seeking. We are moving quite quickly. So I think that's a wonderful point, just to make sure that we're all stopping, reflecting, and reviewing and going, oh, hang on a minute, I'm doing all right. And look how far I've come. And,
Yeah,
really celebrate that.
absolutely. Yeah, I
Yeah.
couldn't agree more. Like one day you can pack so much into one day when you're on the path that it's just like I don't even know who that person was a year ago. Like I've had so many incarnations since then.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly like you said at the start as well. It's like, well, who I was yesterday isn't who I am today. And that is a good thing when we're engaged in personal growth. So I just want to know more about your YouTube journey, Mags.
Yep.
Tell us about that because I watched you start with your Inspiring Five, the
Yep.
podcast, which was just awesome. And then correct me if I'm wrong, I remember seeing some videos on you documenting your monetization journey, which you
Yep.
definitely have monetized, which so that
Yeah.
was great. And then moving more into the sharing about your learning and personal spiritual development stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. That was always the plan to get there, but to get to sharing my personal development. But I knew strategically I had I had done a lot of research. I'd done 12 months of research, and I
Hmm.
could tell that the people that tracked their monetization journey, they from what I could see, they grew a little quicker. It was a good
Hmm.
strategy because there's so many people that want to be YouTubers, which is fantastic. I think everyone should have a channel at some stage. That when there's lots of new YouTubers that want to support each other, and that's
Hmm.
exactly what happened. So I would I would do a monetization journey video each week, a couple of spiritual ones, a monetization one, and people would come in to the monetization one, and then hopefully if they liked me, then they might watch the spiritual one. And that was a very deliberate strategy of mine. But
Gotcha. Okay.
just to back up with the starting with the podcast, the Five podcast, that was a stepping stone to YouTube because to me at that time, being able to talk articulately to the camera
Hmm.
seemed too big. It seemed too big. And I have an acting background, and people think, oh, it should be easy if you're an actor, but it's completely different. It's completely different. I might be comfortable with a camera in my face, but speaking from my heart without a script
Yeah.
authentically as myself is different. So I chose Inspire in 5 because I thought the 5 minutes wouldn't be too much, that wouldn't be overwhelming. And in the beginning, it would always be around 10 minutes, but I've got it down to 5 now, so it's not misleading people. But that's just a wonderful thing that I love to do each week. It's just a bite-sized little, 5-minute journey to uplift and inspire. It's always uplifting, always inspiring, and people can just listen to it and put a spring in their step. And so after about, I started that in the February, and then August 28th, I uploaded my first YouTube video. So it took me that long to get my head around YouTube. To be really,
2024? August
yes,
2024. Yeah,
yes,
okay, yep.
that's right. Yeah, so I've just had my 9-month anniversary on YouTube.
Good on you. That's not very long, is it?
No,
That's
it's
not
it's
very
not.
long to be where
Not.
you're at. So I didn't actually know that you really had a strategy and did some research beforehand, Mags, and that seems to have paid off.
Absolutely. I was really inspired by a channel called Silver and Solo. It's a Canadian woman, and you know, no makeup, very, very real. But she just took off. And I was just like, how did that happen? And I tracked through, and I was like, it's when she started talking about a monetization journey, and people
Mm,
want to go, oh, how are they going with that? Because they want to get
mm.
monetized too. And then it is a way to find your people. So yeah, that really worked for me. But it was interesting that the video that took off was not a YouTube video. It wasn't a, you know, how YouTube changed my life video, which previously had been my highest performing videos.
Right.
How YouTube would change my life in under 200 subscribers, in under 1,000 subscribers. These are other trending videos that
Yep.
you can kind of count on to do well, because at the time with the YouTube under 200 subscriber video, I had 179 subscribers. And because people are wonderful, they're like, I'm going to help this girl get over the 200 mark. If
So
they
good.
just do. And I do that for other people. And you like, they press it and they're like, I'm your 198th subscriber.
That's
I'm your
so
200th
good.
subscriber. It's just, people are beautiful. So
That's lovely.
yeah. So yeah. And then you become friends with other new YouTubers, and it's
Huh.
such a journey. I recommend it for everyone that's got a little bit of extra time,
Yeah.
because it does take time.
Yeah. Oh, that just sounds lovely, like with the community and like supporting each other there. I didn't know
Yeah,
about that bit. That's really nice.
yeah.
Huh. Good on you, Mags. And why mentoring and coaching? What drew you to that? I mean, that's the main component now of your channel and what you're doing and the work that you're moving into. So why mentoring and coaching?
Yeah, I always say I kind of fell into it. I really like believe that. And there's been many things in my life I fall into by accident, because I kind of felt quite directionless, or like, oh, I'll do that, oh, that's presented, I'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I ended up with all of my studies at uni, like big life decisions I just kind of fell into,
Mm-hmm.
um, which I don't recommend. I mean, I think it's good to be far more intentional. I was just lucky, with the coaching and mentoring. A former business mentor of mine, Jenny, who's brilliant, I know you know Jenny.
Yeah.
um, she recommended that I do the coaching course, and at that time I had staff and I didn't feel like a very good leader or a very good manager. I really wanted to be their friend, and then I started to get like bits of resentment would pop up, because I felt, oh, they're taking advantage of this situation. But I knew that it was me, because I wasn't leading, and I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to do this. So it was that time when the coaching came up, and I was like, you know, it's only got to help me. So I went in thinking it's going to help me with work, and it was just like not what I expected. It was really not. I didn't research it very well. I knew people that had done the course and they all loved it, but I didn't really know. Like I didn't.
Yeah.
I really don't know what's going on. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and there was all this wonderful personal development and finding out who we are and what makes us tick. But all the reading list really got me. There were all these fantastic people that I had been, you know, quite obsessed with in my 20s. I'd always loved personal development. So I had the Tony Robbins like infomercial, like late night infomercials tapes, like the actual
Yep.
cassette tapes, and
Nice.
all those personal development books, and a lot of them were on the list. And I was like, hang on, what is this coaching business? Because if I get to read these books, it's a lot better
Yeah.
than one, you know. And yeah, and then there was one book, Amy Porterfield's 2 weeks notice, that was on the list. And so I started researching her, and she has something called the Digital Course Academy. So she teaches people how to do online courses. And I was like, that's cool. And so then I did her DCA. I paid for her course, but I wasn't ready. I didn't have a platform. I didn't have a course. I just kind of jumped the gun. But it was very helpful to know that that's a possibility. And the
Yeah.
online content creation courses, etc., is like a multi-billion-dollar industry it's growing like so fast.
Hmm.
And so it was from there that I was like, I need a platform, like, because I would find it very difficult to just sell myself. So I want people to just see me and then decide if they want to work with me. And that's what I thought YouTube was a perfect answer for that. So that was always in the back of my mind. I need a platform to be able to coach, because to I really wanted a life change. I wanted to be a full-time coach. I'd like to move away from podiatry, and
Hmm.
it to have a full-time coaching business is tricky. It's definitely possible, but it's a lot of work. And
Yep.
so I was like, if I had a platform and people already liked me, that would be a lot easier. And
Yeah.
that's how this all unfolded. And of course, you know, I'm also, I've done my meditation teacher training, and my partner and I teach meditation and self-mastery classes. And so there's the mentoring aspect and coaching aspect there as well. So it's kind of all all the things I love, filmmaking, acting, all of it, it's all kind of all come together in this journey of YouTube. Sorry, I've just brought it back to YouTube.
It's
But
yeah,
yeah,
and I mean, well, YouTube is such a big part of your life, and it feels like that's really the center point, Mags, with all of this other learning and study and stuff that you've done. Like you said, you needed a platform, and here it is.
yeah,
And you're starting to get the reach, and it's a beautiful place for you to teach and to share about your journey and what you've learned and what's important to you.
yeah, it really is. And it's so heartwarming when you share something and people are just like, me too. Oh my gosh. Like
Mm,
I needed this today, or like there's just so much of that. It's just like, wow. And it's, yeah, it is astounding. I was interviewed by a lovely lady last week, Shannon, and she said, "Oh, how does it feel knowing so many people like love you, like in the audience?" And
yeah,
it was just a weird thing because, the, like, I don't, you know, that's nice. I see it like that, but I see it like I'm connecting with people across the world that I
yeah,
would never normally reach. Like,
yeah,
I have a friend, Heidi, mastering midlife with Heidi in Arizona, and we're on a
yeah.
WhatsApp together and supporting each other. And like, it's just, it's, there's so many gifts in it. It's just beautiful. And, but yeah, people really are absolutely lovely, and they're searching for authenticity. Like, that's
Yeah,
one of the most common things is like, oh, wow, you're so authentic. And that's just so rare because YouTube is changing. There was a period of time when the slick editing and the hey, you know, all that kind of stuff was like people wanted to they wanted that. They wanted to
yeah,
be that. But now we're kind of sick of that. And I really see as AI becomes more and more and more like takes over in so many areas, people are crying out for authenticity. And even with people's posts on social media, I can often tell when they've used ChatGTP to write it. And
yeah,
it annoys me. It's like, okay, you're not my person. It's a
yeah.
wonderful tool, and I use it to help me in some ways, but you've got to write your own posts, and you've got, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's such a big topic, Mags, and people are seeking connection. There's a lot of disconnection out in the world. And again, I touched on it at the start, and that I feel, and you tell me about your experience here, is that the video that did really go viral is because you were authentic and just it was just stripped back and you were just being really yourself and sharing about some difficulties you've had and the hurdles you've overcome.
Yeah. Yeah, that video, it was quite special because I feel like I got a massive download. I just channeled that video,
Hmm.
like such a cliche, in the shower. Like it just came to me. Like it was a trending video, and I'd watched someone else's, you know,
Yeah.
how, you know, same title. And I was like, what would I do? Had a shower, all came to me, ran to the computer, typed it out. Filming was easy. And I over edited it, and my partner watched it and he was like, I think you need to strip this back. And so I took a lot out. So it was a very basic edit, just a little bit of B-roll, and it just popped off. It was like the perfect time. I was just,
Mm.
you know, just really lucky. But gee, that video has taught me so much. I can't tell you.
Yeah.
Like,
You
it's been
tell us
such a
about it.
journey
Yeah.
because it's really been, you know when they say when you become wealthy, rich, say you come into money, you become more of who you really are.
I've heard that, yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's the same for fame
Hmm.
or big success. It just was a challenge in a way that I didn't expect.
Huh.
And like it really brought up a lot of stuff that I didn't even know was there that really needed these kind of conditions. Like I needed success to see all that other stuff, like where I was out of humility or like false modesty and humility are two different things. So where I wasn't in humility, where I was in entitlement, where I was like looking outside of myself, this is a big theme in my life. And it just like big spotlight. I was after that video, the view count became very important, and panic each week, panic as the views went down,
Mm.
which of course they're going to, like, it was an unusual thing. Of course the views are going to go down, but like the the absolute panic that brought in me, and a lot
Yeah.
of like my worthiness or my usefulness was so tied up in this,
Yeah.
and also the way other people were treating me, like even online, you could feel this respect from people with smaller channels, and I'm like, we're no different. I just had a video that popped off. Do you know what I mean? And
Mm.
all of a
Yeah.
sudden you get treated with this, not reverence, but like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was a very bizarre thing. And I kind of felt like, not to be dramatic, but there was a bit of a cloud on me for a couple of months. I
Yeah.
felt quite unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
I know we shouldn't be striving for happiness, but there was this kind of like, ugh. And I found myself kind of longing for the freedom that I had before that video. And I just,
Mm.
because I have an acting background and I wanted to make it as an actor and I didn't. And you hear actors like Jim Carrey talking about like what fame does and the success and all of that stuff. And I was like, oh, that's what they're talking about. Like, because you become worried about what you're going to lose instead of playing to win, like win-win, we all win. You play
Yeah.
to not lose. Sorry, to not lose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's just been this very interesting journey, and I'm so grateful for it because earlier on in my journey, I had a video that I say that went viral, but it was like about 1,500 views at that time, was like a big, big jump.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I kind of dealt with all the what do people think, like being afraid of people think what they think and the comments and all that stuff. And I kind of worked on that so that when the big viral video came, it wasn't a big deal. Like there was bits and pieces, other people doing like review videos of me and
Yeah.
lots of mean comments and stuff, but it really genuinely on the whole really didn't bother me because I'd had this other experience that prepared me for it.
Sure.
I can
Sure.
just see how I'm so like the spirit is just so looking out for me, and I
Mm.
feel like this experience that I've had with this viral video, all of what's come after it has absolutely prepared me for going forward. And I'm not saying I don't know what's going to happen going forward, but just I feel so grateful to have kind of plucked out all of the entitlement and the just the fear, all the the unworthiness, the external looking for it outside of myself. Because God knows, like if I had have gone from strength to strength to strength, I don't know what would have become of me. Like, do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
painful. It's painful to live in that place when you know I'm not being bright and shiny right now. And how do I like? And yeah, it was a real journey to mulch through all of that feeling.
Yeah. Sounds like a gift, Mags, because it's
Yeah,
such a unique experience.
yeah,
It's such a unique experience. So I can see how that unique experience that you've had would get you in touch with things that how else would you get in touch with them, like the looking outside and all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, brilliant to have that experience where it has highlighted that stuff so you can work through it. And I guess you're moving into more levels of responsibility, so it's so important. You mentioned humility and you mentioned looking outside of yourself. It's really when we're stepping into these positions of responsibility where we've got influence on people that we are as clear as we can be, and we're really honest and bringing ourselves in the clearest way that we can be. So, I mean, from where I'm sitting, I see it as a positive thing
yeah,
because it's like, well, let's look at this stuff now before you get too far ahead, and then who knows what happens. When we see that a lot of the time, where the star shines on someone
yeah,
and they're really bright and they have all this success, yet if that goes to their head and their ego becomes really inflamed, then that star moves away because they're no longer just doing it for the highest and best good of all concerned with pure motivations and intention. And when you were sharing them, Mags, it was like refining your motivations.
Yeah.
It's like within, yeah, you've got great service ethic and you want to help. Yet within that, of course, all of us are still weeding out those motivations that aren't quite pure, that are still seeking love and approval and from outside, or seeking success from outside of ourselves to prop up our self-worth, all of that sort of stuff. So wonderful to get in touch with that and really weed it out, and who knows what the future holds.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I do see it as a gift now. I definitely do see
Yeah,
it as a gift now, and I'm very,
yeah,
very grateful for it. I feel like I can definitely navigate if I have any more, like, honestly, 5 million views, it's unlikely to be repeated. I know anything is possible, but even there's creators that I love and follow, and they have that one 6 million view video, and then everything else might be a million or a few 100,000. But I mean, like, it's unlikely to, and that's certainly fine by me. Like, it's
yeah,
completely fine. But I definitely feel more capable to stay very grounded and come from that real service place, because it's also like so many people comment. And before, I used to respond to every single comment with such detail. I would spend hours, like, really thoughtfully commenting, and especially like other YouTubers, and like I'd go to their page, and because they wanted advice, and I'd like, spent a lot of time. But you just can't do that when you get bigger, and then it becomes like, where's the connection? Like,
yeah.
how do I still connect with people? I do have a solution to that, though. I'm going to start. I've just decided I'm going to go into get a platform on sorry, the platform school, SKOOL. Have you heard of that one?
I haven't. What's that about?
It's like a membership platform, and
Ah,
you can
sure.
bring people over from YouTube or wherever, and it can be a free membership or you can have paid memberships, but it means that people that are really into what I'm sharing can get them all in the one place.
Yeah,
And then
nice.
there's like notice boards, and like you can do free courses for them, but they're all in the one place. And so I thought, I'd like to do meditations, like a weekly free meditation or even a daily 10-minute meditation, like just get that, like,
Yeah,
know who they are and how to kind of serve them better, and share with them, you know like,
yeah.
give them more of what they want. Ask them what exactly is it that would help you, that kind of thing. And so I think that I'm going to go into that. All of this takes time. So that's sometime over the next few months, I'll look into that a bit further. Yeah.
Sounds like a wonderful idea, like consolidating all of the followers and really weeding out the ones that really, really are into you and want to learn from you, Mags, and
Yeah.
getting them in one spot there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got to say, what is your ultimate intention with the YouTube or with this school platform? What do you want to achieve?
Yeah. That's a good question because I I want to be I my goal is two things: is to be location independent,
Sure.
doing what I love,
Hmm.
which is like coaching and YouTube, um, meeting amazing people, coaching people. I'd love to travel more as well. So I also love filmmaking, and there's a filmmaker inside of me that wants to come out, and I just want to make my videos better. I don't have the time. Like, I just don't have the time. You know how long videos take to do, but
Yeah.
I because of the way because of the way I learn, I would like to do better storytelling for my videos. When people are just talking at you, I mean, I had a lot of ear infections as a kid. I don't hear well in one ear. I often don't know what's going on. Like, I really often walk around the world not knowing what's going on. So when people are talking to me, sometimes um if there's background noise and thing, I don't hear everything, and there's like a few second delay while my brain jumbles the sounds and creates a sentence. And often I'm right, but sometimes I'm not right, and I can just walk around thinking the wrong thing.
Huh. Huh.
So
Okay.
I love stories,
Yeah.
And I love watching those YouTube channels that have beautiful storytelling. And I've got a flash camera that I haven't learned to use properly, but with my acting background, I'd love to like learning from fables,
Mm.
like my favorite money book is The Richest Man in Babylon, and like Paul, The Alchemist, how they use a
Yeah.
fable to tell a story. That's when the
Right.
message gets in for me. So
Yeah.
I would love to create beautiful videos. When I say beautiful, I mean nature and like beautiful cuts that really tell a story. That's not
Mm.
just me talking to camera. Um, that's my goal, is to be able to create videos that have beautiful storytelling so people can really feel what I'm saying. Like, do you know what I mean? That's
Yeah, I
my
love
goal.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something really special about something filmed in the right way. How can it can really just get into those places emotionally and just get people in touch with things that they wouldn't be able to. Or it's just different. It's just, and I love film and I love what you're sharing there, and I have no doubt that that will happen, Mags. And what a wonderful thing to bring, because there is something unique about that that can get people in touch with lots of things when done properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I love
cool.
it. And but equally as much like the one-on-one coaching and group coaching,
Yep,
like
yep.
definitely I love I mean, that's the great thing about coaching, is you attract people that are kind of like you, maybe
That's
a few
true.
months ago, a few years ago, and it's so rewarding. Like it's so deeply rewarding. So helping people that you're kind of a specialist in it. Like I feel like I'm a specialist in unworthiness and in all my core wounding, like being unlovable, feeling like the illusion that I'm unlovable. All these things I tend to attract. Oh, and attract a lot of creatives and like who feel like they don't have any control in the world and they have to wait to be chosen and they want to be special, and like all of this are the people that come, and I love that. I've always loved sharing, like I guess advice, giving back in the day before you knew any better. But now that I've actually got the skills to hold space for people, like
Yeah.
it's just beautiful.
It's interesting, Mags. I've said this a few times on the show that something that Jung said is when you heal from something, you send out invisible letters to all those people that are going through the same thing. So
I
you
love that.
attract those people because
Yeah,
you've got through it. So you can hold space and you can help them with those certain things.
I love that. I
It's
absolutely
cool.
love that. It's so true.
And it's so true. Yeah,
Yeah,
and it makes sense, of course. When we've learned something and we've healed from something, of course, we're going to attract people in that are looking for the same, because then we can guide them and help them with that.
yeah. And it also solidifies our learning, because
Oh,
it's
great
often
point.
like a spiral, like the spiral thing, like we do come around to it again. And
Yeah,
just the other day, I was talking with someone who's just like so busy being busy and
yeah.
got all these dreams and all these plans and all these goals and shiny object syndrome. And I'm like, oh, this is okay. This is a wonderful mirror. Like I was really like, it was quite a lot. I was just like, oh, I get it. I get it. Okay. Got to go within. What am I, yeah, what do I need for myself? Like not looking outside of myself. Why do I think that? Because I'm constantly like bigger and brighter and better and like that idea and like what for? Like because there's constantly this thing, I'm not enough as I am. Who am I trying to prove? What am I trying to prove? Like, do you know
Mm,
what I mean? Like,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Huge thing for people on the planet, Mags, and an ongoing journey for all of us is just weeding out those parts that still are looking outside and don't feel like enough. That's a big issue for many, many people out there. And I often say, well, you are an aspect of God, of source, of life. You're already worthy.
yeah,
And that doesn't mean, oh, we don't have to do anything. Of course, for me, in my experience, and what I share a lot is to actualize that self worth that's already there as a soul, as an aspect of life, is all about making the world a better place in whatever way that looks like to you and your unique heart. Manifesting that self worth on the ground is just doing your best every day to raise people up and to make the world a better place. So yeah, absolutely. It's such a huge thing on the planet, and it comes back to that disconnect that we spoke of briefly as well. There's a lot of disconnection in the world, and yeah, there is a lot of shiny things. You said shiny thing syndrome. It's true. There's
Very
so
true.
much. It's so busy, and there's so many options these days. It's like we forget sometimes just to connect, like we would in, in real well, past times, and be really connected to nature and the universe and all those things, which are the important things in life. I feel anyway.
Absolutely. And it's such a relief when we do come back and connect in, because it's like, oh, what was I like? Sometimes when I'm not on it, I'm like, I feel like I'm running, like I'm in panic mode. What am I running from? What am I running to? Like, calm your farm. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
what is this?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The world's in a state of panic. It feels like a
Because
lot
we're
of the
avoiding
time.
ourselves. Like, we're just avoiding ourselves, like left, right, and center. And
Yeah,
if people like, you know, us that are really diligently on the path, like it's a very, very important part of our life. If we can have moments of avoiding ourselves, the people aren't consciously on the path, like the amount of pain that they must be in
yeah,
without
yeah.
even knowing, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, Max. Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people just escaping their self and escaping feeling. It's that fear of intimacy, intimacy with self. And I love how they share that into me, I see. That's what it starts with, is intimacy with self, or what's actually going on. And there is just so much pain out in the world. I mean, the world isn't a place of enlightenment, enlivenment. It doesn't esteem kindness and unity and community. There's a lot of fear out there. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of jealousy. There's a lot of power over. There's a lot of take, 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 take.
Mm.
And we're bathing in that all the time. So it takes courage to really stop within all of that and say, hang on, what's the truth? What's going on within me, and what is the truth within me, and who do I want to be in the world? And that quote, which has been shared so much, be the change in the world that you wish to see. And I feel it's been watered down now so much because it's everywhere, and stickers, canvas prints, it's just everywhere. If you really break that down, hang on a minute, what do I feel is missing in the world? Instead of complaining about it and judging everyone, what do I feel is missing? What do I want to see more of in the world? How can I make this world a better place for next generations to come? Anybody that really lives by that is really going to make a difference. And I feel there's a deep, deep peace in living in that way, Mags, just
Yeah.
being the change in the world that we wish to see. But it does take courage, and there's so much noise out there. There's so much shiny things. There's so much noise and social media, and we're bombarded with this is what you need in your life to be happy, and this is this is what's important. Hypersexuality, a lot of extremes these days, and younger ones being exposed to more things from a younger age, and really crushing some of that innocence. So, yes, it does take courage. And I often say that we're swimming upstream because it's like the collective consciousness, and most people on the planet are heading this way. It's about survival and control and selfishness and preserving the ego. So the ones out there that are like, hang on a minute, what about unity and healing and community and unconditional love and that namaste experience, God in me, love in me, light in me, meets, greets, honors, loves the same in you, and seeing that sameness within all the diversity, that if people that are living from that way, it takes courage, and we're swimming upstream. So we've always got to be putting in that effort and that energy and consciously choosing, because when we stop being present and consciously choosing, we can so easily get sucked into the stream of where everyone else is going. So it's tough. And you mentioned that as well
Yeah.
before, about it's hard work. It's like it's always hard work. Yeah, there is these moments of joy, absolutely, and look how far I've come and wonderful. But to say that it's not challenging, it would be remiss of anyone in a position of authority or responsibility or teaching, because it's not easy. How can it be? We're going against the grain with a lot of this stuff, those ones that really want to see a world of unconditional love and compassion and acceptance. So we're swimming upstream. It does take a lot of effort.
Absolutely. But so worth it. Oh my gosh.
Mm, mm.
Like I couldn't imagine my life being about the 9 to 5 and then Netflix in the evening and then doing it all again. Like,
Mm,
I just, even though that may be the easier path, it is, it is not. It is
mm.
like, it is, yeah.
There's a lot of people that we're watching this that will understand what you're saying there, and I don't feel like that's everyone's experience. But if you are one of those people that the 9 to 5 and the Netflix thing and just that Groundhog Day every day, you know, if you're not one of those people, because there's this like, oh, I'm meant to be somewhere doing something.
Yeah.
And anyone watching this, I'd encourage you to follow that. And you use the word seeking and being a seeker at the start. It's like, what are you seeking? What is calling you? Because a lot of people out there, they feel a call, but what is that? They just know there's something more to life. And again, it can be hard to follow that calling and really find your way in amongst so much noise. But I would encourage anyone watching this to just trust that knowing, trust the
Mm.
quiet whisper and follow that and be not distracted by the noise. Take time to meditate and be in a still space and dialogue with yourself and find out what is calling you. What do you need to be? Where do you need to be? Because all of us have a purpose. And it's not necessarily we need to create that purpose. You're an aspect of life again, so you're built with purpose. You have a purpose. It's just getting out of your way and peeling back all of those layers that we've put on to build this personality and who we think we are. It's really a process of unbecoming and peeling all that back and getting in touch with our essence and our nature again. And from there, our purpose just is. So yeah, I hear you with that, Mags, and kudos to you for doing the work that you're doing because we need more people out there. And I love that you've got the reach that you've got, and I wish you all the very best with that and increasing your reach with that because you have a lot to share. And what I love, Mags, is that you're still growing. We're all still growing, but people that are following you can watch that in real time. And there's you're weeding through all the pretense, so you're bringing this more authenticity with everything you're sharing, which is just wonderful and relatable to people, and that's brilliant. And I feel that you are doing good work, and you're going to do a lot of good work if you keep going.
Thanks, Jay. And it's interesting what you said because I do kind of one of the bonus factors of having the YouTube channel is my partner said this to me and I was like, oh, you're so right. I am documenting my evolution.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
so cool. Like,
That's cool.
and yeah, next year when if I look back on these videos, I'll be like, oh wow, that was the space I was in then, and now this is my new knowing, and yeah, so it can never get old because it's just constantly evolving and changing. Like it can never get stale, I mean. 'Cause, yeah.
Yeah. I never thought of that, Max, but that's true. You're going to watch your evolution and then in 10 years look back and go, oh, wow. And,
Yeah.
and great for generations to come as well, because people who are in that particular stage of their journey will be drawn to certain videos where you were in that kind of stage to help you then and so on and so forth with wherever you're at. So you've established this platform and you have all these resources really for people that they can tune into.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's very,
awesome.
very, very exciting.
That's fun. Yeah, Mags, if you feel to share,
Yeah.
I'm curious to know if there has been I'm sure there's been a lot of darkness. Was there a low point or a really dark point in your time, in your journey so far that was make or break for you, that was really life changing?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely was. My dark points have always been around relationships. Um, because I have just felt so unlovable my whole life, like just very deeply unlovable. So always looking for love outside of self. And then when you do that, it's just you usually, giving away your sacredness and selling yourself out and so yeah, there was like I had two very, very dark times, both with the breakup of relationship, but one that led to I was drinking a lot. I really drank a lot
Yeah,
through my whole life.
yeah,
Um and yeah, I just had this particular boyfriend. He had he was French, he was a lot younger, he'd passed through, he was lovely, nothing wrong with him, but I was just couldn't, I just felt so abandoned. Like, but the
Mm.
writing was on the wall. Like he didn't even live in the country, like he was passing through. But I still made that decision to just reinforce that, of course, I
Yeah.
was going to be abandoned. But this particular, because he was such a lovely person, it just hit in a way that was different with all the other ways I created this same situation. And a few things happened. I had a really bad night out. Like, I won't go into it, but it was pretty bad. And
After that breakup, Mags.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I harmed myself and I harmed another, basically. Like, when they say do no harm, like I was like, oh, I really harmed myself here. And I I ended up going to a GP who was also a hypnotherapist. And I I said, look, I just felt so worthless. Like, I remember saying, I just feel worthless, the actual words. A lot of people feel it, but I could articulate that I felt worthless. And he took my history and he was like, oh, you have a drinking problem, you shouldn't drink. And I was like, ever? And he was like, never ever again. And I'd stopped for like 6 months before and a couple of times. And but I mean, I just could never, I never thought it was actually possible to never have a drink again, ever. That just seemed completely impossible to me, like asking me to fly kind of thing. But the
Yeah.
way he said, he had, because there were some other details that I'd said to him, I could feel a bit of judgment coming from him. And he was like, you may always be the life of the party, but no man will ever love you if you don't stop drinking. And it was just like, I needed to hear that. Like, people like, oh, how rude. No, that was love, what that man did, like, to say that to me. I
Right.
knew that he was right. And I was like, oh my God, I have to actually stop drinking. And I was really quite scared because I knew that it was true. Like, I had a choice. There's
Yeah.
this life or there's this life. And I stopped. And that was a whole journey in itself. It was the best thing I ever did. And my only like sadness is that I wasn't able to do that at a younger age. I think that was 15 years ago. So about 33. But yeah, that was the lowest of the low I think I've been. And then another romantic relationship where I realized, and this was actually even after that. So I wasn't drinking, but I realized later that I was actually in a relationship with an addict, with a drug addict. Like, um, and just that whole thing, like, if you're just because you're functional and you can go to work doesn't mean you don't have a problem. And and yeah, and I actually I was in my, I think I was in my 30s and introduced to drugs, and I did some recreational drugs for about 12 months that I was with him. And I'm so deeply sad about that, because that I remember the first time that he offered it to me, and I was like, oh my God, like, everything in me was screaming, no, like, no.
Yeah.
But I just made the decision because I just desperately wanted to be loved. Like, it makes me so sad. I just
Mm.
desperately wanted to be loved. And then I did this line of speed, and then became completely codependent. And he actually broke up with me, which was the best thing that he could have done for me, because I wouldn't, because I was so desperate for love. And it was only about 15 months later or something, and that was one of the most painful breakups that I had ever had, and that took a long time. But that's where things changed after that. But
Mm.
yes, so love, wanting to be loved desperately by a man because I just felt so unlovable.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's deep, Mags. And what has changed for you since then? Like, how did you deal with that from there? Because I can feel your pain with that, and this it's more this sadness now. I've gone, girl, you're so lovable. This version of you, seeing you like you're so lovable. Tell us a bit more about that. How you've worked on that, and what's different for you now, and how you've come through it.
I I I wish I could say I just did it all on my own, but I didn't. I met a really, really lovely man. And um you know, Charlie, my
Yeah.
partner, beautiful
Great,
man.
great guy. Yeah.
We've been together 7 years, and I, I mean, reflecting, I'm not surprised that it did take another relationship, because on my own, I had it together. Like, I was competent and capable and fine, but it was this unlovability thing that I had going on. So I needed a relationship really to test that out, I think, and to
Yeah.
grow in that way. And he was wonderful because he's on the path. So he wasn't into playing those games. He was very conscious, and he wanted you know, as mature like relationship as possible, no fairy tales kind of thing. So um and I wanted the fairy tale badly. So that was a bit of a process, undoing the fairy tale thing. I'm so grateful that we don't have a fairy tale, but he really, like, when I first when I we were friends for 18 months before we got together, and I was a little obsessed. I openly admit that. And and I was I had a lot of body image issues, a lot of aging issues, just so, like, paralyzed with feeling ugly. And I had booked in, I had I had gotten a $40,000 loan to have liposuction. Um, and I wasn't overweight or anything. It was an illusion. I was deluded. And he asked me out, and I just kind of knew, it wasn't my very, very first thought, but it was like the next thought, oh, I'm going to have to cancel that appointment. Like, because I knew that he wouldn't stand for
Huh.
that. Like, he's
Huh.
not going to come with me to the hospital and let me hack bits off myself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and
Well,
that's just kind of like the kind of man he is. So he's helped me through so much of like, I was getting Botox when I met him, all of this stuff that, like, if I wanted this man, I had to look at that stuff. And it wasn't easy, but like, that is love. Do you know what I mean? That is taking a stand for someone, like, knowing
yeah,
that that's not, he wouldn't tolerate that, because that's self-harm. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
so at first, I like I couldn't do it for myself. Like, honestly, even like a few years ago, like a couple of years ago, if we'd broken up, I'd probably go straight out and get some more Botox. Like, it's taken a really long time. And now I can say that I wouldn't do that. But it's been a journey, and but it's just the right person with the right kind of love to really help me through that. And yeah, and of course, there's some pedestaling that's happened, and then healing that, and we're just having two conscious people on the path that are just, yeah, it's so I would say that, his love, but also helping, like, that allowed me to love myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you there, Mags, and good on you two for working in that way, because sometimes we do need someone to love us in a certain way while we learn to do that for ourselves. And then, of course, clear away the dependency and stuff like that. So, yeah, and also relationships can get us in touch with things that we can't get in touch with when we're just by ourselves. So, yeah, and I know Charlie and as well, and great guy, and you guys are. It's awesome to see you guys working together as a team, really, to raise each other up and do a relationship in a new way.
Yeah, we're constantly having relationship upgrades. Like, this is the 2.0, this is the 3.0. Hey, we need to work on our emotional mastery. This is the 4.0. Yeah,
Yeah, awesome. Not easy, but I'm sure rewarding and well worth it.
absolutely. I wouldn't change it for a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Mags. Like, you've been on a journey. I know a lot of that stuff that you've shared there, you have documented, and I saw a short film as well about that you did some years ago with
Yeah.
the liposuction and all of that. So I love that you're so open about that. And again, that's the authenticity, that's the relatability, which is why I feel a part of why you're having successes is because you're open about your journey and your struggles. And from there, you can share as well how you've healed and how you've overcome those things, which is also so helpful for people
Mhm.
because it
Thank
can be
you.
tough. It can be
It's
tough
so
out there,
tough.
right?
It's
It's
so tough. for
Yeah.
for everyone, but this for women with this you touched earlier on the over sexualization of women,
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
the self objectifying of women, like women objectifying themselves, and it's like girl power, like it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart so
Mm.
much because that was me, and that like that it's just it could it's just so deeply sad that the sacredness is just like, and the lie is that like the girls are being fed a lie that it's empowerment.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
so sad. And I did do a one woman show about, that's what you're referring to, it was a filmed one woman show about that, but I am going to do a YouTube video on it, but I've kind of been like gearing myself up for it because
You
it's a lot.
go, Mags. Yeah.
But I know that it's needed, and
Yeah.
yeah.
That one woman show that you're talking about there, I've kind of in the back of my mind, I'm like, I wonder when that's coming, the evolved version of that on YouTube, because it's
Yeah.
just so good and you just being raw and open about your journey. So helpful, Max. And I look forward to seeing that one. And it is sad. It
Yeah.
is sad out there because a woman's body is sacred, and there's all this projection and pressure on women to be sexual and to be. There's this over sexualization, which we talked about from such a young age, and they're seen to be frigid and freaks and something wrong with them if they're not giving themselves away from
Yeah.
young teenagehood. And then there's all on the other side, there's all these entitlement from young boys thinking that they deserve it without even fucking working for it.
Yeah.
Sorry, boys, time to fucking grow up. It's not okay. And
Yeah.
yeah, it is really sad. And I hope there is more men and women out there holding a higher standard, because sex is a sacred communing between two people. And it has an impact on you energetically. It has an impact on you emotionally, mentally, spiritually. So we want to choose our partners wisely. And there's just so much encouragement out there to be free with it and give yourself away and all of that stuff which you touched on, Maggie, which is sad. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And for women, the whole thing that everything is geared towards whether or not a man finds them attractive,
Yeah,
whether or not they find the man attractive. It's like when we were younger, it was a good night. When we went out, it was a good night if a man cracked onto you, and if no one cracked onto you, it was a bad night. Like everything was geared around whether or not the male the male thought were attractive.
yeah.
Everything.
And
It's
it's so interesting because the woman have the power. It's like they're the feminine. It's the woman.
yeah,
And ladies out there, you need to make a man work for it.
yeah,
You need to make a man prove himself that he's worth your time and your body. Because it is, again, it's a sacred gift. That communing is a sacred gift that shouldn't be just given away to anyone. And this just comes back to the disconnect. Cat saying hello. You want to join in?
hello.
It just it comes back to the disconnect, Mags, and all the noise out there, and ultimately all the low self-worth and self-esteem and all of those things that we've touched on.
Absolutely.
We had a few tech gremlins there. Uh, So, yeah, we could talk about sex and the state of the world with regards to relationships with men and women and sex. That's a whole nother podcast. Yeah, it is sad, which we both mentioned,
Mm.
to see the objectification of women, and how you were saying there, Mags, as well, that a good night was if a man cracked onto you, whether you liked them or not. I mean, that's
Yeah.
really sad. It's like, for me, in many ways, it's meant to be the other way around.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
nature. I feel it's meant to be the other way around. So, yeah, there's a lot of work to do on both sides of the fence. Men need to man up. There's a lot more to life than just sex. Yes, it's a wonderful communication and a wonderful experience we can have here, yet the world's obsessed with it. The world is
Absolutely.
obsessed, and I heard some stats once that is it 70% of people's thoughts are on sex to varying degrees of, and so much of people's motivation and drive for things, how they dress,
Yeah.
how they are in conversations, is is coming from that, really, that place of sexuality and sex and wanting to be desired.
Absolutely. Wanting to be desired, and then all the projections, the male projections that, you know, you just walk down the street, like all those projections. And then as the woman, just thinking, like, the moment, I remember Sharon Stone saying she knew the day that she stopped being desirable to men. She was crossing the street. It was the first time no one turned to look at her. And I was like, wow, like, and that was devastating for her, because that was what her whole career and everything was built upon. It's just, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a big topic.
It's a huge topic, and I've just got to throw in there as well, because you've already spoken about Botox and this sort of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which is becoming so popular, and encouraged by a lot of really young girls as well to get that done at
Yeah,
such a young age, which is,
preventative,
oh man,
preventative. it's so
it's
it's
like I see
yeah,
so much beauty out there, Maggie, and
yeah,
both. I just see so much beauty, and then it just covered up by so much pain. It's like everywhere. It's just everywhere. And that disconnect, I've said it a million times, disconnected from self and from nature and from truth, really. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's a big thing, and that's how, one of the ways I realized I had worked through a lot of it was how I looked at my mum.
Hmm.
When I was younger, like, because I had this irrational fear of aging from a very young age, like 18, something like that. It's kind of started to kick in. And I would see my mum and I go, oh no, that's how I'm gonna be. Like, I'm gonna have those wrinkles, like, terrifying. And also how horrible, like, you know, to have these thoughts about your mum. Love my mum. She's a beautiful, beautiful woman. Um, and then somewhere along the line, it just, as I was healing it, I, every time I saw her, I would just notice her beauty. And now I'm just like, she's so beautiful. My mum is just, she's 77, she's just beautiful. And I was like, it occurred to me, I was like, oh, that's a sign of my healing, that I can see that,
Yeah.
you know, like that. Yeah.
And it's also a great example there of how life is such a mirror for us.
Yes. Yeah.
it it's like, so you've started to heal that within you, and then so your external world changes, and that happens so much when we're
Yeah.
healing. We can think it's about someone else or this thing in the world, and when we actually go to the core of what's going on for us and we harmonize that within, all of a sudden it's like, oh, they've changed, or the situation outside looks so much different, because it's never about the outside thing, it's just you and the universe. And we work with that a lot,
100%.
as you know, Mags, and in the diploma as well, working with what we would call the universal mirror, and it's only
Yeah.
just you and the universe reflecting to you your inner world. So if
Yeah.
it's if you're having experiences which are triggering you or snagging on things in you, then that's a wonderful thing. We can have the attitude to be grateful for that. Oh wow, okay, there's something unresolved, or the in me, there's something I
Mm.
need to work on here. What's going on for me?
100%. And it's interesting now that I know that, like, I've brushed my hair and I've tried to make myself presentable for our interview, but I don't wear makeup at all in the day, certainly not. And sometimes I would do filming, sometimes I don't. I mix it up. And it was very important to me to not do the glamour thing, from like,
Hmm.
to very, very important to me. So all my early videos are very, like, absolutely no makeup and wild hair and all of this. But it's interesting for me now, seeing how I'm triggering other women by being presenting that way. Like,
Without
and
the makeup, Mags, is that what you mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And I had someone very well meaning, but made a comment like, oh, if you're such a pretty woman, if you just do something about your hair
Hmm.
and looked after, she literally said, looked after yourself a bit, you'd just be stunning. Like, thinking she was complimenting me. And I was just
Yeah.
like, oh, like, people there'd be people that'd be like, oh god, like, and I get it, because that was me. And
Yeah.
the interesting thing is, I'm totally okay with that. I'm okay with women being repelled by the fact that I'm, like, have no makeup on, or, you know, my wild hair. Like, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm so okay with that, which is another sign of, well done, Keep
Yeah.
going, keep going.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
on you. I think that's great, Mags, just being comfortable in your own skin, and also it's being an example of a new way for
yeah,
women and just people genuinely, generally.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
we need more crones. We need more wise women.
Yeah, oh my goodness me. Absolutely. 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 Yes.
Yeah.
So, well, I feel you've spoken about a few of the issues that have tripped you up in that really dark period there as well. I'm wondering, what about now? What are some of your current challenges and things you're working to strengthen, if you wanted to share on some of those?
Yeah. Um, I it's a constant thing for me is the busy being busy thing, avoiding myself. I love taking action. I'm a doer. I work hard. Like
Yeah.
if you need a working bee, you want me there. Like, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
but like it's really stopping and being with myself. Um, and it's not like I don't like myself. I don't want to like it's just making myself stay and like yeah, and allowing the space for the feelings to come up. Like just not overriding the feelings and wanting to accomplish and dare I say it, it's not a popular word, but ambition.
Hmm.
Um, there is ambition in me, and that I'm like that I have to just check my motives with. So, but I really, really, really want to like get to the stage where I could just really be with myself the whole day without needing to read a book or anything. Like, and not like planning and
Hmm.
plotting and
Hmm.
because I've got such a busy mental body. So, and I really suspect that there is tremendous growth. There'll be a tremendous growth period for me once I can really be still, be just really still. And when I do it, like, we go on meditation retreats, and when I do it, it's just glorious. But out in the world, I got to accomplish, I got to get things done. And it's a family trait, it's everyone in my family is pretty much the same. All siblings, both parents, we take action, we get things done. So, but the times when I really, I mean, I make it sound like I don't meditate. Of course I do. I've got my daily practices and everything like that. But I mean, like, long, long periods of being with self. I think there'll be something really beautiful in there for me.
Never leaving self, always being in your home, in your heart,
Yeah.
in that
Yes.
still point. Yeah, that's a challenging thing, Mags. And I mean, there's monks that spend a lifetime working on that, and they're in a bloody
Yeah.
monastery without all the distractions. And hey, I see your go-getterness as a positive thing, Mags, and just finding that balance really of where you can be. The doing comes from the being, as you know, is getting to
Yeah.
that place where you are in that still place always, and the doing is coming from that. So you're never leaving yourself to do things, but you're still getting stuff done. And it's great. It's great that you're doing all this stuff because you're having some wins, and how will we influence the world if we're not doing things? So yeah, I hear you there, just finding the balance and being in that still space more so. Me too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the other side of the coin, yeah, is someone who is very comfortable just spending all their time doing their practices and not really
Yeah,
venturing out into the world and like just
exactly. Yeah.
you can't get
Yeah.
much done doing that either. So
No, that's
yeah,
right. Yeah, so usually we're comfortable with one or the other, more
yeah,
comfortable with one or the other. Hmm.
yeah. I really look forward to slowing down and taking more time because I am actively. I've got things in progress at the moment with my work to really reduce and that'll be like a 6 month process, and then I
Hmm.
think life will look very differently after that.
You want to just, for some context there, just touch on that. This is your podiatry business you're talking about and moving
Sorry,
away from that. Yeah.
yeah, sorry, yes, about letting go of my letting go of my practice. Yeah.
So not quite full time over the line with the coaching and mentoring, but really making inroads towards that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm currently I've got a business coach at the moment that's helping me create my signature program so that
Hmm.
I'll be able to coach people like over a 12-week period, and how to market that and the sales of that, which is all these skills I have no idea what like no idea about how to do that. And so that's a very exciting like part of my journey now too, is like getting that up and happening.
Yeah, that's exciting. Awesome, Mags. And I guess that will land in the perfect timing as well when you're really ready for that. So
I think
good,
so.
good
Yeah.
stuff. What would you say to your 21-year-old self if
I
you
would
could
say
see her now?
I would say someone asked me this the other day and I was like, don't drink and stop chasing boys. But but ultimately what that is like knowing that I'm lovable and that I don't need to do anything or be anyone or go anywhere. Like I can just be with myself, that I'm enough. I just, you know, part of this amazing work that we get to do is we get to reparent ourselves. And I just want to like go back in time and take my young self and go, don't go out tonight. Come inside and take this book and learn about this. Like
Yes.
that's like my
Yeah.
dream for my young self, is just like not want to go out.
Yeah. Yeah. Lovely. Yeah, me
Yeah.
too, Max. Here, read this instead. Have a
Yeah.
nice cup of tea. Just be at home and just
There's such
read
a thing
this.
called meditation. And oh, have you heard of yoga? Do some yoga.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice one.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to share about your journey, Mags, that you feel could be helpful to others out there?
I think the thing that constantly surprises me with people is how it looks on the outside is not how it is on the inside. And I that's probably another thing I'm working on, is I constantly am working against this idea that I'm failing. And I know that's not the truth, and I'm working with that and keep bringing it back. Um, but people, there's so much comparison, and
Mm.
it really, really is a killjoy. It really does just do harm. Like, uh, if you're comparing yourself to someone because you can learn from it or you've got something you can take from it to implement, wonderful. But if you're just comparing yourself to go, they're great and I'm a piece of shit, there's no good can come from that. So looking at anyone's journey um, can look incredible. Like I what I look at your journey and you've just like taken off into the stratosphere. But I also know that it's not been easy for you. And
Hmm.
but someone that's not as close, like that doesn't get to have the privilege to see as closely, would just be like, what the hell, I saw him
Hmm.
last year and do you know what I mean? Like, and it's just you just can't compare. And so don't compare yourself with other people's journeys, and no one's better than you, no one's worse than you. That is like true humility. Equanimity is like, we're not better, we're not worse, we've just been perhaps doing it longer. And if you keep going, you will get there. Like, just don't give up.
Great advice, Mags. Well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to touch on the Global Coaching Academy. I know you
Yeah.
spoke of it briefly.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Mags is a graduate of GCA, and that's an academy that I'm a facilitator for now. I wasn't when Maggie came through the course. It's only since 2024 I joined. Can you just share with us? I know you did a video and shared a bit
Yep.
about that. Can you just share the point of difference about GCA and your experience and what's different for you, Mags, since completing that? And I know you've shared a bit
Yeah.
on it already.
Yeah. GCA was awesome. Like, it was so good. It really did change the trajectory of my life. Like, I completely pivoted after that. Before GCA was like, it's podiatry and acting. And now it's like everything that we've been discussing today. Like, um, but what I loved about it is it kind of, because I've done university study, I've done a lot of it. I did 2 degrees and it's quite full on. But the GCA is super rigorous, but hasn't got the pain of university. It was challenging. It was
Yeah.
challenging and rigorous, but everyone was so loving
Mm.
and so non-judgmental and so accepting, and there was learning in everything. Like, whenever you had no one's rapping you over the knuckles, like they were just loving you, but in a way that you grew from. It wasn't from letting you off the hook. Like it was just this really wonderful balance. And I remember like my first workshop, and they were like, okay, and we had to like get up, like break up into pairs and coach people like really quickly, and I was like, what? Like, what? Slow down. It was terrifying. Everyone was terrified, but everyone was like so high after. It was just like, like we were brand new, we were babies, and we were having we were coaching as best we could, and people were having breakthroughs from the start. Like from the start, without the whole 12 months. It's like the first workshop. Like it's magical. Like it is just so magical. And it's so life-changing for not just people that want to be coaches, but any profession, any like you are a better partner, you're a better like parent, like a better boss, like a better everything. These skills make you better, and they're transferable. So but I just loved my time there. And also there's something magical about the people that end up in your year. Like every year, like because my sister's doing the course now, and she just loves her cohort, and I just loved mine. And there's just something it just kind of draws the right people to come together, and it's just beautiful. Like it's just beautiful. And it's so, I mean, I've said this a million times, but like it's so heart-led. It is absolutely heart-led, but it's rigorous.
Yes.
It is, it's a wild ride. It really is.
Thanks for sharing, Mags. Yeah, thanks for sharing. It's a full course, and this is my first time facilitating the course with your sister in it. And it's like I'm revisiting the course because I'm a graduate as well. I graduated in 2020, and it's so full and it's so rich, and it's just lovely to watch students go through the experience and face their fears. And it literally in the induction weekend you start coaching just to have a feel for it. Quite fun. Thank you very much, Mags. Love all the work that you're doing. And I've got a couple of questions that I ask everyone before I wrap up. But before I do that, is there anything else, any life advice, anything you want to share about your journey, anything else you want to throw in?
Nothing is coming to mind.
If you ring me after this and go, quick, I got one more thing. Just get edited in, would you? Great.
I'll go for a walk now, and then it'll all come. I'll be like, you said that.
Yeah. That's always the way. I get that as well. If I'm watching them back, I'm like, you should ask this. You could have asked this. Why didn't you say this? Yeah, self-acceptance. Great. Thanks, Mag. So if you could take one lesson and everything else was erased from this life, what would it be?
It would be the deep knowing that I was lovable, that I was enough, and I was worthy. Like if I just knew that, everything else would take care of itself, because that covers like knowing that we are love, and love is all there is. That covers everything. If you just instill that into every child, like imagine,
Whoa.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that would be absolutely life-changing. Absolutely. If we really knew that intrinsically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good call. Nice one, Mags. And in real time now, if you could say something to every person on the planet, it might be the same thing.
Yeah.
What would that be? And they would really deeply hear what you had to say.
I would say, I mean, if I could just get them to know it straight away, know that they are worthy, that would solve everything. But I would say really, really go on the journey of self-discovery, of the know thyself, be interested in what am I feeling. Just ask for guidance, like to be shown the truth. Just ask to be shown. Ask for a teacher. Ask for the way. Just ask and just have. Okay, this is it. This is actually what I would say. Now that I'm like, oh, no, this is it. This is transformational. It is, we must walk in nature every day with no earpods, with no listening to anything, just walking in nature and noticing the nature around you, and not thinking, because like we've all got busy mental bodies, but actually there's this great meditation from Thich Nhat Hanh, I think that was
Mhm.
that's how you pronounce it. When I was going through one of the breakups I mentioned, I found his book, and I went to Bali, and I was like in so much pain, but this meditation just helped me so much. Every time you walk past a tree, you're like, I see you tree, I smile at you tree. I see you plant, I smile at you plant. I see you flower, I smile at you flower. Everything that you see. And if you can just like even just 5 minutes of the walking in nature, doing that practice, and I mean like not with people around, so not a busy park, just if you can be in complete solitude for 5 minutes in nature and do that process, I think that's it.
Great. That would also change a lot of lives if everyone did that. Yeah, absolutely. Nice one, Mags. Nice. Well, it feels like a wrap to me. I love you lots. You're shining
Love you
brightly.
too.
You're kicking goals. I'm so pleased we had this conversation. And I look forward to genuinely seeing where you go, Mags, with everything you're doing because, the future is boundless, it seems. And I just can't wait to see where you end up.
Thank you so much, Jay. Thank you for having me and for holding space, and you're such a wonderful interviewer. Like, I don't know if people realize how easy you make it look, but it's not easy to hold people in an interview situation and be able to like refer, like it's a skill that you've
Thanks.
cultivated. What I don't want to say it's a natural. You're a natural, because then that implies that it's not a skill, and it's just something that you're really very good at. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Maggie. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, and I work on watching them back and going some with some things and how I can do better as well. So yeah, much love, Mags. Appreciate that. And for everyone watching, thanks for watching. Lots of love. Stay bright, never give up, and let's change this planet.